This is Andrew Wicklund with PRC Software. I'm going to go over our schedule risk analysis tool, Tempus the Time Bandit. This is your schedule Monte Carlo tool for Primavera and Microsoft Project Schedule. So first of all, I just want to go over the basic navigation in this module, so it'll be just a couple minutes. So first of all, when you log into the tool, you'll notice up at the top you get our logo, and to the right of that, you can take that side menu and make it bigger or smaller. So you can get more viewable area and when you're looking at the Gantt chart, etc. So we've got it's set up kind of in a process-oriented view. So when you look at the left-hand side, starting from the top, this is your project selector. So I've got the ability to come in and manage my projects and set this up. We'll do a video on that. That being said, I've got this example one that I've got selected, and then I can go in and select my milestone list right away once I've got a file imported. So I can go in here and say, for example, I want to report on certain activities in the schedule. I can go in here and say, you know, we really need to know when the final report is, and then I just click the add button, and then anytime you go to the reports, it's always going to generate the project completion, the procurement, and then the historic records and claims. So I've added 3 milestones. Now all my reports will always have those at the click of a button. It makes it a lot easier to do it that way instead of pulling every chart manually. So from here, I'm not going to go through each section in detail because we'll have a separate module on each one. But what I would say is in the schedule import, you can go in and import a new project. So you just find your file, hit the upload button, you're in. Once you import the file, you get an import checklist where we've got some options on that. We'll go over that in a module just on the importing in general, just to align your Microsoft Project and P6 schedules. We also have a schedule checklist where you can come through and see, for example, this schedule didn't have a bunch of issues. However, when I click on a value, it'll tell me why, and here's the free float values and why it's giving me, here's the total float values. So, and you can export. Most of these have an export button on them. So when you click on that, like the import checklist, I can export them real quick. Same thing with the schedule checklist, and it'll take everything to a separate tab in Excel. It brings in your plan summary, and then you have the ability to test the network. We kind of considered that when we used to do Primavera Risk, the first 3 steps of your training, getting all the way through the schedule. Then you test the network, and you're really, at that point, you just clear all. You're ready to go into your Gantt chart view. So this is where you'll see all of your data. This is where you can go in, and we'll do a training class on this, but you'll notice there's min, likely, and max columns. There's different distribution types, but there's these columns that you have where you can put in your min, your likely, and your max. But the other thing is you can go in and set up an uncertainty register where it's a combination of filters and grouping plus uncertainty on that grouping. So larger schedules, that tends to be the way you need to do it, or it's, you know, you're just not going to be able to go line through line with any value. Then you have your risk register under risk events, and you'll see we have a section for risk, task mapping, and then there's a deal for network logic, so you can see how the risks are tied in. So a couple neat features in there. Everything else we kind of bury in the advanced section. So like custom fields, you can get to them. Your correlation, same thing. All the advanced features we put under there, so it's a less intimidating interface. And then you have your reports and your dashboards. And with your dashboards, you can see I added in my final report in historic records, and all I have to do is do my drop down here, and then I can see all my reports for that particular one. And then I can drill into those specific reports. With any of these, like with most of our tools, if you click check all and click the Microsoft Word button, it'll export everything into Microsoft Word immediately, so you don't even have to think about it. So that's a general overview of just the layout in general, and then we'll have more advanced sections on each individual section. Cheers.